everyone. The next session is again ours, where we were going to be taking care of a wonderful, wonderful panel around diversity. And there'll be so many things that we will be talking about. Because when we talk about diversity, it's not just about gender diversity, but it's all about bringing everyone in and supporting each other. And today we have wonderful line of speakers and panelists with us. So I'll give it over to my wonderful friend Zoe Britterman, who is going to be moderating the panel, and then my dear friends Loredana, Jessica, Astha. So Zoe, over to you. I'll let you take the panel forward because I'm just being part of the panel here. Hi everyone.
Hi Vandana.
Hello.
Oh,
yes, we can hear you, Zoe.
okay.
It's good.
Great. Okay, yeah, split between two devices. Okay. So I'm here to introduce my amazing colleagues and friends, Loredana Mancini, Vandana Verma, Asta Sani, and Jessica. Do you mind pronouncing your last name again? I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I let everyone pronounce it however they would like, but I usually go with Gottsleben.
Okay, Gottsleben. Future president of the United States, by the way. Totally. So I'm here to talk about diversity. And as Vandana had mentioned, diversity is more than just gender, and gender is more than just non-binary. It really is about diverse contribution to our industry and community, and how we can also build that diversity as a community and as multiple communities in order to make the best, strongest community and workforce to secure our infrastructure. So with that, I'm going to introduce our panelists, and each of them can tell us a little bit more about themselves. Okay, starting with Loredana.
Hi everybody. Thank you, Zoe. And it's really a pleasure to be part of this great event and this panel, you know, that, as you correctly said, speaks not only about diversity in terms of culture, age, or whatever, but really in terms of the contribution that diversity can bring in industry, generally speaking, and in our field in particular. I must say that I feel that OWASP has diversity in its DNA, you know, because I remember when I first entered this community, it was many years ago, and, you know, I felt really, let's say, I don't know if it's the right word, but a little bit ashamed, you know, because I entered a community with lots of knowledge, lots of projects, lots of discussion going on. And I must say that at that time, also now really, I didn't understand them all, you know, I was a little bit lost, but I always felt that, you know, I was accepted. I could say whatever I thought, even if it was not really, you know, the right thing or the most up-to-date solution for something. And it was really a place where I could speak and I could learn, you know. So my feeling is that considering this really, you know, inner presence within OWASP, this group, you know, this community for OWASP, that is women, but diversity and inclusion is really something that has brought the experience within OWASP for lots of people to a higher level, you know, with the possibility really to speak, to share knowledge, to bring, you know, whatever you know to the community. You give to the community. Something is very useful, something is less, but you feel that you can really contribute and give. And I also think that since the community started, the decision to create some, let's say, presence in different continents. You know, we have people, of course, in the United States, we have people in Eastern country, in Africa, in Europe, was also another aspect that help us in reaching more people, you know, because you can really, you know what people think there, you know how they look at things, so you can really support this cultural exchange at a higher level. So I do think this was quite important, because also thinking about my working experience, you know, in other along my life, working life, I noticed that, you know, from time to time, you think that everybody speaks the same language because we almost speak all technical, but it's not completely true, because there are interpretation, there are a culture, you know, background. So when you say something or you do a presentation or whatever, you have a different way, you know, saying things and pushing, or, you know, or not pushing. So my feeling is that, as I said, OWASP has always been, you know, an inclusive environment, but with our group, we really, you know, helped lots of women, but also any type, you know, diversity to be included more here. And another aspect that I think it's quite important for our community and for our committee is also the activities that we are doing worldwide in, let's say, creating alliances or sharing of knowledge or ideas and so on with other community that have the same goals, you know, to have diversity on the ground, really, you know, to bring these things on the field, not just speak about it. Okay, because there are, as they say, greenwashing, there is also diversity washing around the world. And so all the activities that also in the different countries with the different people we are doing to create alliances and work together with other community. You know, we have here Vandana that has created a very strong link also with the InfoSec, you know, girls diversity. We have the other people that have are present in other groups. I have behind me, you know, both OWASP we are a logo, but also another one that it's just one of the other women, let's say, or diversity community that I try to support at my best. That is Donne 4.0. I want to speak about this because it introduces another aspect that I'm sure some other speakers will discuss during this panel, that is the connection on how technology needs, you know, to be diverse, how the input in developing, in implementing, in creating new solutions needs different point of view. I'm just thinking about artificial intelligence, for example, but any type of service, you know. So it's important that we think that technology is not just a product or let's call it standard processes, you know, because we all know there are lots of very nice processes to implement things and to manage and so on, but it's also how they are built, how they are created since the beginning. That should include, you know, as we include security, as we include, you know, safety, we should include diversity at its early stage. So with these two logos, you know, on my back, I really think that, you know, there are lots of possible inputs that women in general, but of course I speak generally about all diversity that we have in our world, can really bring value, you know, in an area that is just sometimes felt quite cold, you know. It's this is a technology, so it works. No, it's not this way. Again, security, you know, can be seen differently from different people because of different needs, and also because of different culture. So this is something that Zoe, I think it's really a value, you know, for OWASP and of course for our committee. Thank you very much.
Very well. Yeah, and I really like the logos, like that you're able to get that. Yeah. So Vandana, tell us a little bit about all that you do.
So hi everyone, I'm Vandana Verma. I'm from India, and about my experience, currently I'm a security relations leader at SNEAK, but I'm neck deep into OWASP. My journey started way back in 2011-12, where I got introduced to OWASP. But that time I was just thinking that OWASP is a web testing guide or a top 10. But then after a couple of months, I realized that it's a huge community. Somebody introduced me to it. And there my journey started with OWASP. And over the years, I became a chapter leader for OWASP Bangalore, then being part of OWASP Women in AppSec, taking care of a lot of initiatives where we started a lot of free trainings and we did a lot of sessions and whatnot. And it was such a fun working with these wonderful ladies. And I remember being so close with Zoe and Loredana, where we were hopping into so many events and talking about so many things and bringing diversity in. And then from bringing diversity in, and from VIA, which is Women in AppSec, to becoming a DIA, supporting these initiatives where we can be inclusive of everyone, not just that we are talking about that let's have women in application security, but anyone in application security can join from any field, from any part of the world, from any color, in any age group. And I remember that we were giving a lot of free trainings as part of OWASP, and there were people who were like over 60 plus, and they were so enthusiastic about learning about application security. They're like, we want to do it. We want to see how it works. We want to see how the different experiences work. And post that in 2019, I remember my friends pushing me to go for OWASP board because there were elections coming up, and I got to be on the OWASP board. Last year, I served as a treasurer, taking care of the monetary things and everything. And this year, I am serving as a vice chair. So the most important aspect for me wherein the community being supportive of everything I do, and even when we all are sharing the information with each other and the initiatives that we are taking care of. So apart from that, I also run certain communities like InfoSec Girls, which we started like a long back, and then we had some ups and downs, but there were so many people who joined us, supported us, and here we are growing strong with so many chapters around the world. We also started InfoSec Kids last year so that we can have some information from the cybersecurity world for kids and their parents. Then everyone was saying that, okay, when we talk about girls, even though it's inclusive, can we have something for common people, like everyone, not just the people who are in cybersecurity, any normal person, our parents. I know that they have a lot of issues in understanding the cybersecurity concepts. So now why, I'll tell you one important thing. So my cousin brother bought a chandelier, like it was a big, beautiful chandelier, which you can just hang it on the wall. And it was run by like using a Bluetooth. Now, is it too hard to do some Bluetooth hack? If you are using an outdated software, a lot of times that it's easy. So we were very, like, it was very fancy, and we still have that, but we have turned off a lot of things in that so that it's just a showpiece. Now, why it all started, I just got a script from the internet, and on the dinner table I ran, and it was just continuously spinning, and everybody spooked out what has happened. It was very hard to turn it off because it was running via script, which was running on a loop. Now, these are the simplest of things, but now we have smart TVs, smart geysers, and whatnot at home. So it's important that we run all these things. And that's how we started off with InfoSec Diversity, where we're trying to bring security for everyone, students to elderly people, to veterans, to everyone. And we've also started a lot of mentorship programs, because mentorship program is for everyone. And a lot of you, I know, are being mentors for a lot of students. So thank you for being that. And a huge shout out to Zoe for being so supportive of all these initiatives, and amazing kudos to Loredana for being a mentor for all of us and for being so being there for us. That's just a bit about myself, what I am doing.
That's really wonderful. Oh, always inspiring. And yeah, I mean, all the different groups, InfoSec Kids, reaching them young, having, ingrained in their behaviors to kind of act smartly and securely, from little things like password to, when in doubt, step away from the computer, cyberbullying. And I guess it depends, elderly. I know my mom's learning emojis right now. But yes, so great. And Asta, how about you?
Thanks, Zoe. So, hi everyone. My name is Asta Sahani, and as by profession, I'm working as a lead cybersecurity instructor at Flatiron School, New York. And besides my regular job, I have worked for a lot many communities, and I'm currently also working for many others. So, I started off my cyber journey in 2015, and that was the time I got introduced to OWASP when I started off my master's degree in 2015 in information security management. And thereafter, I just started to go and attend the meetups that used to happen. And that happened way back in India when I was in New Delhi. I just started to go for monthly meetups. I used to be the only woman, then started off with two, and then I started to enjoy it. Like, this is something new, curious, and something which has been there for years, but we got to started to know about it from their time. Okay, something is there in development. There is security everywhere, from physical to cloud to internet, because we started to use internet a lot after 2010 when we had so many applications add-ons and phones have become smartphones. So moving on from that, I got married, I moved to US, and I started off my journey with OWASP Women in AppSec along with InfoSec Girls. So I worked with Vandana for, I think, more than 2 years in InfoSec Girls, and I'm still working with her, Zoe, Loredana, and many others in the committee of VIA, including Jessica also now. So it has been a good journey. I got to learn a lot when I joined VIA. I just knew limited, like before I joined VIA, actually, I knew very limited aspects of OWASP, like Mandana said, like OWASP top 10, or just the full form of, okay, what's OWASP doing? But after joining VIA, I got access or basically exposure to different projects, specifically different flagship projects which are ongoing. Currently, I am part of VIA, but along with that, I am part of the education committee as well. And right now, I'm running two other initiatives. So I'm running a Women in Cybersecurity Lean In Circle, and I'm also running a mentorship program known as Cyber Preserve. So I am with students all the time in the span of 2 years, and specifically working with Flatiron. I have trained more than at least 400 plus students currently in cybersecurity. So that's my passion, to learn more and to share my knowledge with everyone. And thank you everyone for joining this panel today. I know this is one of the best panel we could have today to have a discussion on diversity, inclusion, and of course, AppSec.
Completely agree. Thank you so much, Professor Sani. So now Jessica.
Oh my goodness. I love going last, because then I get to hear all the amazing things about the women that I look up to. I get to share space with all of you, and I'm so grateful for that. And I'm grateful for everyone who's tuning in right now. I'm grateful to be in community with you all. So my journey into information security, cybersec, AppSec, all of that, I always say that the industry and all of these things chose me. I'm a survivor of abuse and violence and exploitation. And in that, what I went through were all of the things you can imagine in tech facilitated gender-based violence, the utilization of stalkerware, spyware, or if anyone has heard of it, used as spouseware, all of these things. So my journey in was that I wanted to understand, as someone who didn't come from a technological background, I didn't have access to devices until much later than a lot of other people did. I came from a lower income background. I wanted to understand how I could use the same things that had been used against me to harm me. I wanted to understand how I could protect others through that, but how I could also teach others so that I could prevent it from happening to them as well, and how we could build that into what we do. I know we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the panel, a little bit more of that, but that was my journey in, was knowing that cyber is a tool that can either be used for bad or it can be used for good, which is why I say that hackers are superheroes. Hackers are heroes. AppSec engineers, AppSec practitioners, any of you who are tuning in, if this is your passion, awesome. You put on your cape this is what you're here to do. You're here to save lives. You're here to protect people. And I'm so happy that you're here. And please stick with us for that. Outside of OWASP, WIA, and DIA, I also serve as an advisory board member and staff member to multiple diversity and inclusion-based conferences, organizations, training groups, women's groups in cybersecurity. I serve as a Hacking is Not a Crime advocate. I'm currently working with multiple domestic violence organizations and anti-trafficking networks throughout the world, and just a multitude of others, training in information security, anti-cyberbullying, just about anything you could think that protects someone and makes them safer, whether that be a child, an elderly person, young woman, just everyone to have a safer, more just world is usually where I'm focused. I am currently in additional CISO training because I serve as a VCSO and a VCSO, among other things. So I'm a little bit of everywhere. If you ever need me for anything, I always say I'm just a phone call away, a text message away, a message away. If you ever want a mentor, if you want to find where you belong in OWASP and you're maybe an introvert and you're a little bit new, I know Zoe and I represent the introverted world of all of this. If you're looking for where you fit in the open source community, there are so many research outlets and so many initiatives you can get involved with, and we are such a welcoming group. We want you here, we want you to talk with us and to work with us, and we can connect you with so many other people globally. I know we'll get to talk more about this in our other conversation pieces, but just we're here for you. So please get more involved with us and find other opportunities, because the research that we do, like Loredana said, some of my research is in bringing the most vulnerable direct frontline communities into the implementation of the technology that is either used for them or against them, whether that be artificial intelligence or anything else. So please, if you're from a frontline community, we want you here. I want you here. I want you to talk with us. I want you involved in the research that directly impacts you. So that's a little bit about me. It's why I'm passionate. I'm so grateful to be here with all of you and just really excited.
Really awesome. Super inspiring what you do, saving lives and everything. And, really understanding how you can channel passion into the industry and community. And I see a lot of that. I see, so much of it is really about the people's drive and the people's motivations to mentor as they learn and to continuously give back. Such a big culture. I haven't seen another, as much in other tech communities, maybe some social innovation, but just like teaching people something useful, answering questions that they have about specific things, making them think about security in development in their business and their lives, depending on who you're coordinating with, and just spreading awareness where you can, and knowing that knowing that introverts also play a role. And that's one of the things that I really love about OWASP, WIA, and diversity and inclusion being part of OWASP, because there are so many projects to which someone can contribute, and they can even know nothing about code necessarily going in, because they're looking for, whether it be translators, writers, proofreaders, or people with expertise in security that's not necessarily on the development side, and also hackers giving their contribution in terms of their specific research and their specific passions, and they definitely have interesting stories, because they're just really passionate about it, or really interested in it, and it happens to also definitely contribute to a career path, but a lot of people just really enjoy geeking out over the subject. And so yeah, and so some of the activities that we've had expert speakers in various domains sharing their expertise, giving demos, giving tutorials, giving trainings, also specific talks of interest. We've had hackathons and events, and we're going to have more. And, you know, really at this point looking for more feedback on how we can improve upon this and how we can expand upon what it is and who's involved, encouraging other people to also take leadership roles within OWASP diversity. And also, you know, again, expanding beyond gender, expanding, you know, to neurodivergence, maybe to people with different career paths, hacker outreach. And so if you could also, you know, say offhand, each of you in the same order, Loredana, Vandana, Asta, Jessica, what would you like to see as a next step? What would this round of questioning, you know, specifically around who would you like to see join our community and bring their perspective? Name one or two groups. Loredana?
Yeah. You know, it was really interesting to hear the experiences of the other, you know, participants to the panel, because I think they pointed out a couple of aspects that I think are really important for our community in general, but anyway, for, how will I say, for everyone. One is connected with the need that we have to create, you know, awareness. So when we speak about kids, for example, they will be our future. So if they, you know, grow with the perception, you know, not fear, but perception of the need to, you know, stay safe, understand the difficulties or the needs of attention that they have when going through social media, and, you know, they will be next generation of developers, of technician or whatever. So they already have inside themselves, you know, the perception of what they should do. So it's not something that you have to construct on, but it's already built in them. So I think this is quite important because, you know, the future is now always connected. So there is no more the possibility to go back. As well as also Jessica said, the need to create knowledge also to people that perhaps it's less used to use internet or this kind of things, you know, so they can also suffer problems of attacks or, you know, stealing of identity or whatever. So I think that one aspect that I would really like to see, but we already do it, but, you know, perhaps we can push more, is really the awareness part for, you know, all type of people. And the other aspect that I think it's quite important, really speaking about diversity, and this is something that I think we should explain always better, is the fact that, you know, there is the need not only of technical people. You know, Ashta, Jessica just show it, Vandana just got the second degree, or how you call it, in law, you know, so there are competencies that really are not just security-based or technical-based and so on. You can have people with law knowledge, because this is an important aspect to protect yourself or the community. You need people with the different languages knowledge, because, you know, open source intelligence. You know, there are lots of careers that we can show to, you know, whoever, young women or anybody that wants to enter the working field, that is important. So what I would like, you know, to see growing in this area anyway, and for our communities, really, you know, this aspect connected with awareness, you know, in all fields, not just for people working already, and also to make the market itself understand, you know, even the industry, companies, public authorities, and people to understand that security is really a wide area. You know, it's becoming more and more, you know, inside everything we do. So this is something that perhaps in the future, you know, not only us, that we are already doing it in some ways, we can improve, of course, as always, but all the communities should look at. This is just my 1 cent, as you say.
So true. Really well said. Yeah. Vandana.
Yeah, I am totally in agreement with Loredana that there are so many things in cybersecurity that we can start doing, and there are already things which we all are doing. We are trying to do our bit by supporting the community, because it's all starts from the seed, where we sow the seed and slowly and steadily the plants grow to become the trees. And that's what we are trying to do, where we started off with women in AppSec, where we had few people joining those calls way back in 2015-16. I remember being on calls with you, Loredana and Zoe, and then there were a lot of people chiming in. And now if I see, we have Jessica to ask that, to everyone growing. And we have not just grown in women, OWASP women in AppSec, but we are collaborating with, let's say, Cyber Preserve. We are collaborating with the InfoSec girls and so many other communities in even in Italy and many other places where we are trying to be there, and even with a lot of other places where we say, okay, let's have free education, free cybersecurity content training for these people. And yes, when we talk about cybersecurity, it's not just about application security, but so much more we are trying to target, trying to educate developers about cybersecurity. And that's when OWASP even has a huge amount of support and efforts to kick that start. And even I recently started a project about developer outreach program, where we can have more developer becoming part of OWASP, because they are the people who know the environment well. And if they know that, yes, this is how things can be molded around security, we can do wonders. And at the same time, it is important to be sure of what law has to entail, and what different areas are can be targeted. Like I talk about IoT space is becoming huge. And even when we have these devices near us and in the organization, it becomes important to understand their security. So how we can educate people around that, it becomes important. So these are just my 2 cents on it.
That's true. Yeah. And also, potential implications of, certain ML, voice recognition. What are some indicators, I guess? It's a little bit more far-fetched, but building in differential privacy and seeing what developers are doing with certain both with certain controls in very, very specific domains, specific frameworks, specific domains, but also just knowing the different environments. And nobody can realistically know nearly everything, but you can always learn from each other and always build and figure out how to solve complex problems in a complex way, but in real time. Bringing in the order to complexity is I guess a big theme in my enthusiasm about the industry. Breaking down a complex problem. And Asta, I'm excited for your response, especially since you're a professor and you have so many students who look up to you and who have learned and who've gotten placed in their first cyber jobs.
Thank you, Zoe. Yes, I think definitely few of the ideas that have come to my mind is because of my students. Like, because when they are learning, I get to see the other side, how they're absorbing the information. So again, when I see a community like we are and they are, which is now, so diversity in AppSec, when I see as a warm community where there is a safe place for everyone to come. I think specifically for anyone who have, like, let's say, career gaps and they want to build a career in AppSec or in security, how we can guide them, because we have so many experts in OWASP already, and in VIA itself, we have Loredana, we have Vandana, we have Zoe, and I know we have other committee members as well who are equally experienced with so many different domains. So I think definitely they can share their expertise. They can share, like, they can be mentors to them. And at the same time, something like an open house for people where they can just come and share what they want to learn. And we have now experience. So whatever we have learned from OWASP, like giving them the exposure of learning more about the flagship projects. And to be honest, before I was part of OWASP, I had very limited exposure, even though everything is on the website. You get to know more when you become part of it. And I think I've learned a lot from the Spotlight series, different projects like ASVS, we have dependency check, we have ZAP. ZAP is already known, but still there are a lot many projects. If people get to learn, and if we can provide them those workshops, they'll get to know like, oh, which particular security tool can be used at which aspect of application security, or let's say overall development and operations, like let's say from design to development to let's say code review, testing, operations. So how different tools can be used. In fact, we have a standard for logging as well. We have an OWASP standard for logging as well. So making people more aware about different roles and responsibilities that they can take based on their passion, based on their interest. And then of course, we have access to our flagship projects and different projects. From there, they can learn from the experience of the already present leaders in the industry, and plus open house sessions, study groups can really help them, because I know when we are alone, we are lazy, but when we have a group, we have people to motivate us. So this is something I want to share from my side.
It's very true. Very well said. Yeah, there are a bunch of projects, and you know, how is anyone going to know coming into the industry or community that all those projects exist, or really most of them, and how they can be useful? You know, how they could be used for as a hobby initially, depending, or how they could be used for their organization, especially startups, how they can integrate certain ones and save a bunch of costs, depending. But yeah, and now there's a project integration standard of how they all kind of come into play, which is very, very useful, very helpful, and various talks, and Vandana has given talks in that area as well. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just reaching people where they are, no matter where it is, and therefore people with different experiences are a major asset to our community, and being able to do so, again, whether it be devs in specific areas, the sysadmin, network, so somebody from outside of tech. It's so rapidly moving that at the end of the day, it's about community and willingness to learn. And also, the drive to give back eventually, I feel like motivates a lot of us, because we want to give, but in order to really give, we need to build the skills ourselves and continue to grow. And because nobody knows everything, I always say simultaneously be a mentor, challenge yourself, possibly do it, especially with people. We're all prone to some sort of imposter syndrome because everything moves so quickly, but always push yourself to try to mentor someone on something or teach someone something, even if you don't think you're ready, because it's also a great way to solidify your own learning. So simultaneously be a mentee and a mentor at all times in something. And it's just a good way to stay sharp. And so, stepping outside of the day job and doing that as an extra layer of enthusiasm and passion. And that's really what OWASP is. I think for a lot of us, I think many of you will agree, because jobs can change, whether it be you wanting a transition, you wanting to try something else, or unfortunate layoffs, just a dynamic job market, and a specific company or team not being a match per se. And you just need to know that AppSec or any area of InfoSec or tech is, goes beyond that, and you are an asset, and you should be able to, enjoy it and thrive. And a lot of that is what OWASP and diversity mean to me.
Absolutely. I think we will hear from Jessica as well, what she has to say about the different things that she thinks can be added here.
Yeah. I was listening to all of you so intently. I feel like whenever I'm in, for anyone who's new, and if you want to come into our committee, please, I promise you will be smiling. It will be one of the best parts of your week or your month, just to be part of these meetings. You'll be smiling like I was. But yeah, there are so many groups that I would like to see specific to our committee and to, you know, coming into AppSec as a whole. And I love what Zoe says to, you know, find people where they are and meet people where they are. Please, if you are non-technical, don't stray away. If you come from a law or a policy background, please, I come from a policy background. I came from a non-technical background. Please, if this is your avenue into cyber, if you want to dive into AppSec just as, like Zoe said, a hobby, if this is something that you want to do because you just want to learn and find ways to give back, and then maybe it becomes a career later, please join us. If you are neurodivergent and you have not found a neuro-inclusive space before, I promise you this will be that space. Zoe and I will be extremely welcoming to you. There are so many other neurodivergent folks that we work with in so many spaces. If you are gender expansive, literally any gender, any sexuality, any ability, if web accessibility is your passion, maybe you are disabled and web accessibility is your passion, AppSec is a big deal for that. Application security matters so much to the disabled community around the world, because for disabled folks, literally your devices and your apps are your way into communicating with others and to being active in the community. So please, if you want to be someone who secures apps for that, if you are an activist and you care about your community being protected, right now we have state and non-state actors that are doing harm to activists. And it's AppSec engineers and practitioners that are protecting activists on the ground. If you want to help with trafficking victims, of course, please talk to me. If you are a victim or survivor of any of these types of crimes, please, this is the perfect committee to go into. That's another group that I would like to see more present within our, I'm bringing more in, but I would like to see others come from around the world, please. This is your space. This is your committee. OWASP is, we can point you in the right direction, but OWASP really is the space for you. I would love to see more individuals. This is going to be very specific, but I would love to see more individuals from throughout the continent of Africa. I say this because I work with so many leaders in the community throughout Africa in various areas, and it's such a strong cyber leadership community. So please, if you're considering going into the DIA committee and being more part of this, please, we would love, 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 love to host more hackathons and more events with you and collaborate with you. There are just so many communities that we really, when we say diversity and inclusion, we mean this is an equitable space for everyone. We commit to maintaining that. So please join us, come in, there's somewhere for you. And application security is, like Vandana said, this is, as we see the IoT progress, and it's not stopping anytime soon, it is going to get a lot faster the further we are in the digital age and the fourth industrial revolution and public diplomacy 2.0 and IoT. The more interconnected we become, this is only going to become that much more important. If you're a cyber person who is not considered application security because it's not your day job, this is your place to explore that. This is the place to gain that knowledge. So please, there's so many of us here who are willing to teach, mentor, learn with you, stumble with you through it, invent something brand new. It may start in this committee, so please join us. This is the space to do it, and this is the time to, because we don't have time. We don't have time. Time is of the essence in terms of securing all of cyberspace and securing the world for us. So if this is the committee you want to do it with, then please, please join us.
Yes. Well, very well said. And yeah, we have a mailing list. We have a meetup. If you go onto the OWASP site and search WIA, WIA, then you'll find our committee. You'll be able to search for contact information for the officers like Laura, Donna, and myself. And you'll also be able to join the mailing list, WIA-committee@owasp.org. And just, continue to learn and just, be who you are, because we need that. The world needs that.
Absolutely. And we do also have a YouTube channel where we host our talks. So if you want to give a talk and you feel that you're not confident, We all are here to support you. We'll do dry runs, we'll do sessions with you, and we'll make sure you're comfortable and can give a talk there. So we're all there to support all of you. Please feel free to reach out to us. And Zoe has shared the mailing list. Just drop a note there, and we all are there to listen to you.
Yes.